Say in Matthew 6:19-21.
In Matthew 6:19-21, it talks about how you should be focusing on the treasures in heaven and not treasures on earth, meaning that treasures on earth are things that are provided, earthly things like clothing or like things that you like to do, but you should be doing those things for God and not for just your own self or for the world.
What example in your life did you use?
I use an example of my grandparents. My grandparents have everything that they need, and they've never really had much, but they've always been happy with what they have. And over the years, I've really realized that, they don't really take things from other people. They're such giving people, and about 2 years ago, my grandpa got diagnosed with bile duct cancer, and it obviously affected our family in a huge way. And it was kind of shocking because my grandpa's such a devoted Christian, and he really has had such a good life, and to just see it end after 65 years is too short. And so when he first got diagnosed with it, it was really hard to understand why my grandpa, why does he have to get this? And so my mom would go away at different periods of time, maybe around 3 weeks to 2 weeks maybe, and she'd come back saying he doesn't look great, but you can see that he's happy. He still puts a smile on his face, and he still is able to live his day with happiness, and he doesn't just think of all the negative things in life. He always thinks of the positive. And she'd always come back saying the same thing, and I thought how amazing it was that even though he was scared and terrified and didn't really know what to think about all this, he still had so much faith in God and trusted God and knew that he had his wife who cared about him so much, and that she was everything to him and he was everything to her. And 2 years ago he passed away from it, and obviously it was hard for us to understand because he was just such a great person. And yeah.
How has this affected you?
Well, first I was kind of angry because why did it have to be this one person that was just so faithful to God and everything like that? And then I started to realize well, maybe this is just God wants him in heaven. He doesn't want him on earth anymore. He's been a servant to God. He's done everything he can, and now God wants him in heaven. So then I started, obviously praying every night for him, and even though he passed away, I knew that he had a good life, and yeah, it was just, I kind of grew closer to God, obviously, through that time, and now, I feel like he's around me all the time, even when I'm just, at home, I still, feel his presence around me, which is comforting, obviously, and I've kind of become stronger through this, which is good. So it's just a good example of someone who had, he focused on those treasures in heaven and not those treasures on earth, and he had a great life, even though, he did pass away from something that is not the best. And so, yeah.
Beautiful.
That's all I have to say.